to the 2024 Calhoun County Quarterback Club's High School Football Media Day. My name is Danny Shears. It's an honor and privilege to serve on the board of directors here at the Quarterback Club. And before we bring up our next school, let me take a moment and thank Jim Jacobs and Jacobs Media. Of course, we've got media partners all inside this room, out in the main dining area set up, but each year Jim sets up his equipment and live stream on all of his platforms this high school media day. And if my numbers are correct, for the first 5 years, I think there's been over 10,000 views each year of this particular day that we bring forward. So you've got people all over Northeast Alabama and beyond that get to see High School Football Media Day, either live or they go back over the weekend or the weeks to come and watch it. So we appreciate that partnership with Jacobs Media. We now want to welcome to the Cooper Chevrolet stage at the 2024 Calhoun County High School Football Media Day, the Pleasant Valley Raiders. Pleasant Valley competes in 2A, Region 7. The head coach of the Raiders is Coach Jonathan Nix. Today, Coach Nix has brought with him senior tight end, defensive end, Noah Johnson, and also junior linebacker, Braden Papa. Coach Nix, we will start with your opening comments.
Hey, we're just excited to be here. We would just want to thank y'all for doing this event. Such a great time to be able to bring athletes like Noah and Braden up here and brag on their leadership and what they've done in the off season. Both these men are just high character guys, great leaders on the team. They do everything the coaches ask. Hard workers, and just really excited about both of them. Noah, was kind of late to coming out to football, but once he came out for football, he fell in love with it, and the team really, buys into what he brings to the table. He's a big tight end for us. Also, we use him some on the defensive line. And this coming up year, maybe it's where we don't need him as much on one side, and he can, start striving to be a little more elite on the other side. And so, but Noah's a great leader, and Braden Papa, what he brings to the team is, is just positivity. I mean, this guy, every day, he's bringing some kind of positive energy, and he makes no bones about his faith. I love how he just steps out and leads on that. And, and I think he's one of the main reasons. One thing I want to talk just first and foremost, like we've had this summer, we've had 6 kids get saved, whether it's the FCA camp where we had 2 kids. Then the other night we go to a team function at Saks. We had 4 more kids that gave their life to God. And, I think Braden's one of the main reasons for that. We've got other great teammates on that, but whether it's leading Bible study or how he leads. And, I just think the spiritual growth has really been led by Braden and some of the other players. So real proud of both of these guys for this opportunity. Looking forward to the season. Was able to add some coaches to the staff. This is the first time since I've been there that we're going to have a 6-man varsity staff, which is huge. So we're going to be able to split offense and defense on coaching. Then each one of those other coaches would be the helper at that other position if we're focusing on one side of the ball. But was able to add Scotty Ward. He's going to be doing the defense, and then Darren Parker is going to be a defensive back coach, and then Coach Muncher's back. We're moving him from outside backers to D-line. So them 3 will be doing the defense. And then on the offensive side, Coach Turner and Coach Caldwell and myself will be doing that. Coach Caldwell does our O-line. Coach Turner is going to be more passing game coordinator, working with that. And then I'll be doing quarterbacks and running backs. So really excited about that. Then we got, Coach Hamby and Coach Preston will be with us on Friday night. So even on Friday nights, we're going to have an 8-man staff. So, I think the little details like that's going to help in these ball games, making sure that, we're ready to do what we need to do in this region.
Very good. Thank you, Coach. We'll open it up to questions now.
To Jonathan, Noah, and Braden, what did making the playoffs last year do just to goose the off season, to make Pleasant Valley dream bigger maybe, and what's the next step?
So, I would like to put first, all the glory goes to the Lord, and I just think that's our that's our goal next year too, is to win that game, and not come up short, and just strive to be the best we can at each practice, each day, every single day.
Yeah, like Papa said, I think winning the game or winning a playoff game is what we're looking forward to next. Like, we got to the playoffs, but now we want to host a playoff and win a playoff. That's our goal for next season.
We've talked about that a lot too. Like even in our, sometimes you start believing what you hear if you're not careful, and so that's something that we really talk to all of our programs about. Baseball was 1 out away from making it to postseason, and and that's something that they're working tough next year to finish stronger. But besides that, every one of our male programs made postseason, and if baseball would have made it, been the first time in school history that every male program at our school made postseason, and our females had a great year also. So I'm a firm believer that if you start winning at one thing, it should breed into the next if you're all buying into unity. Our top 3 grades are only 185 kids, so we need everybody to do everything, and that's the ingredient at Pleasant Valley is all of our athletes have to play multiple sports and they have to buy into each other. And if they do that, then all our programs win. And you look at over the history of the program, and when the programs have the most success, it's when they're pulling everybody together. And so, that's where I think it's up to each coach as a head coach and that to buy into each other, because Noah might be a phenomenal pitcher, and then when he first came out to football, he wasn't near as good at defensive end as he is at pitching. But what that defensive end taught him is, hey, you have just a second to go. And sometimes, in baseball, you can overanalyze things. There's no overanalyzing when you're on the D line. When the ball snaps, you better move. So all your thinking goes, and so each sport can help the other. And so I think that, that's one of the things that we're trying to drive all of our programs to doing that. And the more we do that, I think the more success we'll have in Pleasant Valley.
Question right here, Coach. What year will this be for you this fall at Pleasant
Pretty
Valley?
sure it's year 10.
Year 10?
Yeah.
Obviously 10 years is a long time. Talk about last fall. We've always heard that any high school, when football has a winning season, it just helps out with everything, with academics, with discipline issues. Did you see anything like that? That usually the mindset, every how the football team's going in that first semester is generally how the school goes. Could you see anything like that last year?
There's definitely. I mean, volleyball, they won a state championship. And so, and football's, first time in school history, they start 4-0. And the big thing, we had some key injuries early in the year, early in the season. And, and it kind of took a little belief out of us for a little bit. And so we had to kind of regroup with that. And so, because I think a lot of times a kid, whatever they're hearing, this kid goes down, so there's no way you're going to win any more ball games. This kid's not doing this, so, but this team is really bought into, hey, we got to buy into each other. And I think some of them saw it front hand last year when some key positions went down, and all of a sudden we had to put 2 new offensive guards in there that really had never taken a snap before. And by the end of the season, those 2 guys were extremely good. But I think 90% of that was 2 factors. Number one, people's building them up each day. They're telling them, hey, you're not where you need to be right now, but keep working hard. You can do this. This team believes in you. Your coaches believe in you. And then the kid has to accept that and go work hard. And I think that was a combination of some of those freshmen being able to step up last year is just the positive energy that was put into them. And then them also being able to handle some of the things, all right, it's not going my way, but how am I not going to give up and keep driving?
And Jonathan, year 10, just thoughts about coaching in this county for 10 years, and then also just what gold have you found at Pleasant Valley?
Coaching in the county is great. I mean, I feel like Calhoun County is one of the best counties around for us athletics. I mean, look at some of the programs that we offer here, some of the success, some of the veteran coaches. I mean, there's so many strong coaches in this county. So and it's the longest that I've ever been anywhere. Most of the time before that it was 3 to 5, but it's kind of it's a goal. I mean, you can win a playoff game in Pleasant Valley, and I think there's got to be a team, and I'm hoping it's this team right here. But good teams are led by players, and coaches are there leading with them. But you have to take on that initiative as a player to make sure that I'm doing the extra things, I'm doing the stuff it takes to do that. And so I've seen a lot of that this all season. I've seen, from January to May, I mean, we had something like 110 pounds added to our maxes, and that was consistency in the weight room. I would say if you weigh some of them, like you take a Braxton Salster, who played last year at 160 or so, he's 190 now. Jonathan Hanson on the D-line played at 180, 185, he's 210 now. I mean, we've got several kids, Braden's put on 20 pounds of muscle or so. And so the only way you can do that is consistent hard work. And there's no magic pill, there's no secret ingredient to, what does Pleasant Valley need to do to get to the next step? The answer is consistently work hard, and I think in the school year we were doing that. In the summer, you always got these distractions. So for one, I'm excited when school starts. School brings routine. Routine is good for everybody, especially if you have consistent routine. And so those are some things that, excited about this season, and excited about this region.
My question's for Noah and Brayton. How does it feel that Coach Nick selected you guys to come up and speak with us today, and what does it mean to y'all to be representing Pleasant Valley?
I would say it's an honor. Obviously, the only reason that I'm here is by the Lord's grace, the Lord's mercy and everything. And I'm glad to be able to represent the team and the school, and I'm just ready for this season.
It means a lot for me because this is my second year playing football, and the fact that Coach Nick trusts me to be a leader on this team shows a lot. So I'm really appreciative.
Question right here.
Jonathan, two of the schools that were here, the three before you guys, brought new helmet designs this year, and of course, you brought one last year that won you a pretty nice award. Can you talk about just what kind of juice your kids and your school gets out of things like that?
I think so. I mean, they've got the belt here. Actually, it's at y'all's booth out there. So it's now a touchdown turnover belt. So whoever gets that, we kind of hang that around their neck and they keep track of that. But I think the helmet brings the community together too. So there's so many. The history of the school. You've had different colors, different designs, different mascots, but one traditional thing, if you look back from the first team, there's always this interlocking TV. And so when we went to this helmet design, we want to do everything we can to bring people together, not divide them. And so, that's kind of why we went to that specific logo on there. It's traditional. And we've had several alumni and different people reach out and still talk about the helmet, so and the kids like it. And I've noticed that a couple of these new helmet designs look very similar to that.
The 3A region in the area has gotten a lot of preseason attention, but you guys have a pretty solid 2A region to play in this year as well. Talk about your region a little bit.
We do. Everybody in the region we have played before or been in the region with the exception of Pisgah. When we played Pisgah in the playoffs, that was the first time that Pleasant Valley and Pisgah had played each other. And, and now we open up region play with them. And I think that's going to be a key game because it's going to measure, not where we're at in the region, but where are you at and how far you can go in the playoffs, because Pisgah's got a veteran team coming back. I mean, they're one of the strong suits to, pick to win the region and actually win it all with some of the guys they have coming back. So, I think that's going to be a key game for us just to see where we're at. I'm glad that game's early in the season so we can look at that and then go from that. But besides them, I really think that this region's up for grabs for anybody. So I think it's going to be who's playing the best ball by week 5, 6, and so taking each week like it's a week of its own and trying to improve, and and I think that's going to determine the region. We've got our non-regions early, which I'm proud of that. And so we've got week 10 that we're taking off, and we did this for a reason, to say, hey, the expectation is we're going to make postseason. We're not hoping to make postseason. Our expectation this year is we want to host that playoff game. And so that's why we chose week 10. And so I think getting the kids to buy into that, this is the expectation. This is not, something, because last year our seniors said they were in kindergarten the last time that they made postseason. And so, are you doing the things that it takes each week to make sure that this happens this year? And so I'm just excited about the leadership and watching those guys work and compete.
One final question right here, and then we'll wrap it up with your comments. But for the players, what did it mean to you, each one of you, when Coach told you that he was bringing you to media day to day? What did it mean to you and your parents? Talk about that when he told you.
I mean, I would say I was shocked in a way because I wasn't even thinking about anything about media day because I didn't really hear of it. But when he did, I was like, wow, all the hard work and everything just paid off and everything. And I just thanked the Lord right then that he gave me this opportunity to come up here and represent the team and the players and everything like that. So.
Yeah, it means a lot. I've been watching Pleasant Valley since I was little because my cousins and my sister went to Pleasant Valley. So to be representing Pleasant Valley now as a senior just means a lot.
Very good. Coach, your final comments.
Just appreciate the opportunity, and I'll share a quick story with Braden, on Braden here. He's the first player that I've ever coached that called me and said, Coach, I'm going to be preaching. Is there any way you can come watch me? And, and I think that's at that age, for somebody to be that bold to be able to do that and get up there is just, to me, it's what it's all about in coaching. For him to get up there and do what he did and study and, and put a message in front of a congregation was just, amazing to me. And I really think that a lot of kids on the team, they saw that. Sometimes the kid nowadays, when you scroll through social media, you don't see anybody putting anything on there about, well, today I got 225 stuck on my chest. Can you record this video? They're only seeing positive. And so sometimes, it's hard for kids to handle any kind of negative because they're just used to seeing positive and they're used to comparing to somebody else. And so that's something that our team's been real hard on this summer about. Hey, let's worry about us. Let's worry about what we're doing and how can you build another teammate up. And sometimes that leadership is not an age. A lot of times, like Braxton, he started as a quarterback in the 8th grade. And, and there were seniors that looked up to him for leadership. So leadership is not an age. Leadership is an action. And so both of these guys right here represent that. We got several other kids on the team that makes it exciting to coach at Pleasant Valley.
I'm sorry, one more thing. Braden, that's very interesting. Could you elaborate on the situation about preaching and where it was and how you got a chance to do that?
The question was, for those viewing at home, elaborate a little bit on on what Coach just talked about.
So it was April 21st, I believe, last April, and I remember a month or two before getting asked because our church at Angel Grove Baptist Church in Jacksonville, it's on 204. If anybody wants to go there, you're welcome. But I remember getting asked a month before because we were just starting up a youth service, a youth-led service each, I guess, quarterly by the year. And I remember our youth pastor coming up, our pastor and our youth pastor coming up to me during a mission trip that I was on in Peru. They asked me, do you want to preach? And I said, absolutely. And just preaching, I preached on 1 Samuel 17, 41 through 49, the verse and everything about the story of David and Goliath and how you face your giants and everything. And how David, he was looked at like he was the least in his family. He was the least called upon. I mean, the I can't remember who it was, but they were coming to look for people to face Goliath, I believe, and looked at all David's dad's son and everything. Looked at all of his brothers. There was none of them that would do it, and you know they had one more, and it was David. And David, you know, being out in the field and everything, facing lions, all that stuff, you know, and he always looked to the Lord and everything, and that's where I get a lot of inspiration from David, is because, like, I mean, I've always been a smaller person, but you know, when I can look to the Lord for guidance, for wisdom, for strength, that's where I get my stuff from.
Well said. Pleasant Valley Raiders, appreciate you guys. Best of luck to you this fall. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we've got the Anniston Bulldogs coming up.